DEBx, amplifying voices, accelerating change.
Please help me welcome to the stage, Lynn Lambert.
I am 70 years old and in the square in the middle of my golden years of retirement. But I am not retired. In fact, I am now working 4 jobs. I'd be willing to bet this is not the retirement most of you have planned. However, the fact is that most people of retirement age are no longer able to retire. It has become the age of social insecurity. How did this happen? Well, in my case, I married young at 19. And like most young couples, we figured we needed a place to start our life together. So we bought the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood. And of course, we had to fill it with perfect furniture. And we had to have perfect cars. Well, because that's what everybody else in our life was doing. But 8 years into our marriage, we noticed an interesting phenomenon. The money in our bank account was mysteriously dwindling. And there was always more month than there was money. What I needed to do was obvious, or so it seemed at that time. It was simple math. I needed more money. So I went back to school to obtain a degree because surely this would increase my income. And it did. But as life would have it, 10 years later, I found myself a single parent with 3 children and 1 inadequate income. I lost our house, the security I knew it as a family, and I had to file for bankruptcy. Well, there was only one thing for me to do. I went back to school, this time grad school, and I began to make more money. However, the higher income was eaten up by bigger school loan payments, a mortgage, a car loan, and credit card debt. So when the 2008 mortgage recession hit, I was primed to once again lose much of my investment income and my home. You've probably heard of the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Well, I persevered in thinking that if I had more money, that would take care of my problems. And well, that was insane. What I eventually realized is that it was not about the amount of money I made, but rather it was about the amount of money I kept. No matter how much money I bring in, if I spend more than I make, I am broke. Between the excessive spending, the accumulated debt, and the unpredictable economy, I had become entrapped in a financial cycle that I was unable to escape. And I know I'm not alone. Each year, 1 out of every 2,000 mortgages in the United States goes into foreclosure. And each year, almost 780,000 bankruptcies are filed. The average credit card debt is $16,000. And this is over and above mortgages, school loans, credit card debt. This is a very powerful indicator of the spending habits of the United States public. This, and the fact that most Americans have less than $500 in their savings account. Oh, and whatever savings you think you need to retire, you may want to triple that. Since the Great Depression in the 1930s, there has been a major recession every 8 to 10 years. Our last recession was in 2008. You do the math. Are you prepared to weather a crisis like this? How many months could you survive if you lost your job or we had a recession? 1 month? 3? A year? The Great Depression lasted 3 years. Savings is important. This is why so many senior citizens are in the situation I'm in. They attempt to live on Social Security alone, but with the average benefit being below the federal poverty guidelines. Well, it's no wonder there are so many seniors that are Walmart greeters today. How did we get here? Let's face it, we are a nation of spenders. We are a people with a Burger King mentality. We want what we want, and we want it right now. There seems to be a strong societal trend to buy things we don't really need, to impress people we don't necessarily even like. In doing so, we allow others to determine our self-worth. Are you willing to exchange your life for the opinions of others? Stop buying things to impress people and instead invest that money in yourself. What would that look like? What would it look like if we stopped spending money we didn't have to impress others? What if we tried to stop keeping up with the Joneses? If you stop that debt cycle, you could use that money to invest in your future and your dreams, investing in skills that would make you more marketable. How do we do that? Well, we are so used to paying our creditors every month. But what if you paid yourself first? Taking a portion of your income every month and putting away for security. Rather than working for someone else and investing in their future, consider investing in your own future by creating a home-based business. Take a hobby, something you're passionate about, and find a way to monetize that to build your future. I have a friend who opened a home-based online bakery so she could stay home with her children. The tax write-offs were great, and you are investing in something that makes you happy. Had I invested in what I truly wanted in my life, I know that my situation would be much different today. Back then, I made decisions to buy things to impress others and never really looked at what would make me happy. Had I done this, my life might look very different today. But the truth is, I never took the time to see what I wanted. I was just caught up in the way that things were always done. It is time to look beyond the norm, to create opportunities to invest in yourself. My commitment is to leave everyone with a new point of view that may protect you and your loved ones from losing it all. Don't face your retirement years in fear and poverty. Be proactive. Stop spending for others and figure out what's important to you in your life and invest there. I was talking to a young friend the other day about the millennials. She was troubled by the prevailing attitude that they're lazy. Actually, they tend to be entrepreneurs, living within their means. They are creating life with experiences and people rather than things. This gives me great hope for them and their future and for the future of our country. I encourage you to seek in your heart and figure out what matters most to you. And then live your life accordingly with joy, protecting those people that you love. As Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, once said, the most important investment you can make is in yourself. Thank you.